It's not uncommon. It's seen
They will
as
meet resistance.
acceptable.
You know, there's three types of folks out there. There's sheep, there's wolves, and there's sheepdogs.
Right.
The sheep are the majority of the American population. I would say the world population. The wolves are the parasitic and looter classes in our government, both government employees, rulers, and bureaucrats, and all of their parasitic classes that rely on them for handouts, checks, food stamps, you name whatever the government subsidy may be, even into corporate welfare and that type of thing. Then you have the sheepdogs, who are the people who are prepared to use their weapons in self-defense, but they also have a keen moral disposition where they know right from wrong that separates them from being serial killers or gang members.
One of the things that impressed me about Rawls' book Patriots is the group in that book. Obviously I'm interested in morality. I consider myself a very religious person. The group in that book, they already knew how they were going to deal with different situations. They knew they were not going to loot. Even to the extreme of captured loot from cannibals, they set aside as almost if it was like religiously unclean. And I don't know how I feel about that. I've just read the book a couple days ago. Maybe I even think that's a little extreme. But what was impressive to me is that they knew how they were going to deal with those kind of situations. They had thought of it, and they had also thought of how they would rebuild if there was such a horrific collapse, like the collapse in Argentina that unfortunately most Americans don't know about because it happened almost simultaneously with 9/11. That it just got eclipsed.
Yeah.
During that collapse, they've just gone back to. Has it become more free there? I don't think that it's gotten to be that great a place since the collapse.
I don't think that Argentina is more free, nor do I think Uruguay, which is our second place we're looking at, is more free. But it's a place where a person who is industrious, entrepreneurial, and maybe goes down there with an investment cash of some sort, they can learn to navigate their way through it and do it much more successfully than they will through, what will we call it, post-America? What's going to happen to us after this Greater Depression and currency collapse?
We'll call it these United States.
We'll call it these United States. That's exactly what we'll do. Yeah.
I've heard people say that, and it never dawned on me what they were getting at. That phrase is so different from the United States.
It is, and that's a Lincolnian creation to say the United States, because he wanted it grammatically and unconsciously to be an assumption, not just Lincoln, but all of his followers and those who created this massive managerial state. He wanted it to be a grammatically effective, unconscious meme, automatically informing people that the central government was the be-all and end-all of their governance.
Okay, in the Rawlsian, I think that's a term now.
It would be a term. Yeah.
Rawlsian philosophy. You can't go it alone. Even a family is not big enough. You need a core nucleus of, is it 12? I think he's talking about almost like, is that like a half a platoon size?
Well, it'd be a quarter of a platoon. It's a squad plus.
It's a
two
squad?
fire teams plus.
Okay. Well, I'll delete that out if you want.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay, so squad plus. Obviously, I'm military illiterate, but how do you feel about that? Is that true, or is that overdoing it? Or?
I think it's all up to your village and how you organize yourself. So,
because I don't know. I don't have a squad plus on my side as of today, but
well, you should proselytize in your church, and maybe you could do that.
It's actually some pretty easy proselytizing in the church.
It should be easy because you can talk to all of your fellow men members and say, according to our particular creed, it is our obligation and duty to make sure we take care of them. By the way, it has all these resources, so let's get together and we'll practice.
Yeah.
Let's have a weekend where all the lights are off.
Do you want to skip 9/11 or talk about it?
No, I don't want to talk about 9/11. As a matter of fact, let's stop now.
Wait.
Do you have one more question?
I'll delete that part about 9/11.
9/11, like the birther controversy, doesn't interest me.
You know what? I feel like nothing interests me except for the economy. Like, I don't care. It doesn't seem relevant. It doesn't change.
No. Didn't.
I'm off.
You're off?
No, do you want it off?
I've got to take this.
Go ahead.
Let me take this. I'll be right back.
Okay. One last question, and I'll let you go. Thank you so much for your time. It's
My
been
pleasure.
awesome. Importance of weapon standardization amongst groups of not militia, but preparedness people.
We call them the village people.
The village people.
The village people, yeah.
We don't ask, don't tell.
Well, we take Hillary Clinton's adage to heart. She said, it takes a village, we agree.
Okay. Does that have anything to do with weapon standardization?
Yes, it's all about interoperability.
You gotta just spell it out for us.
And the fact that I don't have all members of my family who can handle .308 rifles. If they can't all handle .308 rifles, one of my cardinal rules for having a weapon is that if I have a pistol, I have one. I'm a Glock guy, not a 1911 Glock guy. If I were a 1911 guy, I wouldn't own any Glocks. Same thing applies with ARs. I want to field a .308. My wife can't handle a .308, only a .223. Therefore, what is the optimal thing to do? The optimal thing to do, especially with technology advancing
You
as it
mean
is.
5.56, right? Or 2.23?
223 and 5.56 are interchangeable.
Both directions?
Well, I wouldn't put the round in backwards, but
All right.
yeah.
You sure? You can put a 5.56 and a 2.23 without any... I'll delete that part out.
Okay.
I think you're wrong, but I'll do research.
Hey, would you prove me wrong? I'd be interested in that.
Because what do your rifles say? Do they say 5.56 or 2.23?
5.56.
Okay, good.
Anyhow, look, we can stipulate that.
What?
That's something that can be empirically established, whether 223 and 5.56 are. So it's not a meritable discussion for us.
Right. Well, I'll delete it all out. That was just me babbling.
So interoperability, I wanted to make sure that I had a single weapons platform for both 308 and 223. Manipulation, controls, and commonality of parts in both the lower and the upper are fairly common in the AR platform, whether it is 308 or 223, which is why I decided to make the transition from FALs to ARs.
But you didn't get rid of your fouls. You hid them away.
That needs to be deleted.